I've received a number of questions pertaining to the second coming of Jesus. Um, and I admit I haven't put a lot of thought into this. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it or reflecting on it. Those questions generally come in one of two ways, or focus on one of two things. The first is when, right? And that answer is pretty easy insofar as we simply don't know. And I don't think we can know or are ever going to know. Jesus himself said, it's not for you to know the time and situation. Like, we just don't know. And to invest a whole bunch of time and energy into it seems a little counterproductive in my estimation. It distracts from some of the other issues that we need to spend thinking about it. But the second question, I think, really is important, and that's, why is it taking so long? When we look at the world around us and we see, a history full of violence and upheaval and uncertainty and death. Historically, we've lived through the rise and falls of empires. We've lived through genocides and crusades and plagues and pandemics and all of the rest of this, and in world wars. And in the midst of all of these things, you got to imagine that people are saying, Lord, why are you not coming back? It's time. This is a mess. I can certainly relate to that. I feel that now right down in my core. I feel like our world is fraying, not just at the edges, but that fray is coming all the way into the middle of the rug, and there's almost nothing left holding us all together. And you have to wonder, why? What's taken so long? If not now, when? But I think when we ask that question in that way, we start to miss the point of the second coming. We have a couple of places. Jesus certainly mentions his return, and we have another place in the book of one of the two Thessalonians. I don't remember. I think it was First Thessalonians, and the entire book of Revelation seems to be about that end of time as well. But we lose sight of the fact that the all of those texts, especially the book of Revelation, is as much about the contemporaneous church, the first and second century church, as it is about any church down the road in history. Right, that story is about a church that is suffering persecution. The imagery of beasts and dragons and all of those kinds of things in Babylon refer almost explicitly, in spite of the heavy metaphor, to the nation, the Empire of Rome, and the incredible resistance and persecution that the church faced at the hands of Rome. And the whole point of that story is to essentially look at these churches and say, don't lose hope. I know it seems bleak. I know this world seems like it's aligned against you. I know like forces of evil seem like they're insurmountable. But do not fear. God is not threatened. God is still on the throne. God will come back and set things right. Do not fear. In the end, God wins. That's the message. I think when we start to look and start to ask when, why not yet, what's going on, we lose sight of the bigger message, and that is God's still on the throne. God's still in control. And that's a message that I know I have to, when I look around at this world and I look at still the ongoing, we struggle with the same things that I feel like we've struggled with since the beginning of history, with wars and genocides and hatred, and now we've got the advent of racisms and sexisms and heterosexisms and all of the rest of this, and it's, you look at all those kinds of things and you say, is God still in control? And in moments like those, the reminder that we need not be afraid, that God isn't threatened by dragons and beasts or anything else, that God will come back, that God will set things right, and that God's power is not in any way threatened by all of the stuff that threatens us. That's a message that I need. I think it's a message we all need. And so when I think about the second coming of Christ, that's where I settle. When it happens, I don't know. For me, for all of us, it probably just needs to be enough to know that God is not threatened and that in the end, God will win.